Miscellaneous Writings, Book 3, by C. H. Mackintosh, Evangelization, A Word to the Evangelist. Letter 5 of 7. It seems as though I must once more take up my pen to address you on certain matters connected with the work of evangelization, which have forced themselves upon my attention for some time past. There are three distinct branches of the work which I long to see occupying a far more definite and prominent place among us, and these are, the tract depot, the gospel preaching, and the Sunday school. It strikes me that the Lord is awakening attention to the importance of the tract depot as a valuable agency in the work of evangelization, but I question if we, on this side of the Atlantic, are thoroughly in earnest on the subject. How is this? Have books and tracts lost their interest and value in our eyes? Or does the fault lie in the mode of conducting our tract depots? To my mind there seems to be something lacking in reference to this matter. I would fain see a well-conducted depot in every important town. By well-conducted, I mean one taken up and carried on as a direct service to the Lord, in true love for souls, deep interest in the spread of the truth, and at the same time in a sound business way. I have known several depots fall to the ground through lack of business habits on the part of the conductors. They seemed very earnest, sincere persons, but quite unfit to conduct a business. In short, they were persons in whose hands any business would have fallen through. For example, I have visited some places wherein the tract depot was managed, or rather mismanaged, by invalids. In one place, I found the business in the hands of a poor old bedridden woman. She was a most dear person, and it was quite delightful to spend an hour by her bedside, but how could she possibly manage a depot? I believe she had been confined to her bed for 3 years. One might pass her door for years, and never know that there was such a thing as a tract or a book to be had. There was no shop, no advertisements, no sort of exposure of the tracts in the window. Nor is this an isolated instance. If it were, I should pass it over in silence. In many a large town, an obscure room in a backstreet has a few tracts bundled together in dust and disgraceful confusion. Now I should like to know who could be expected to purchase tracts under such circumstances. Most assuredly, the generality of persons would not do so. Then in many places there is the most deplorable failure as to the valuable and interesting work of conducting a depot. How can we best reach the people for whom the tracts and books are prepared? I believe by having the books and tracts exposed for sale in a shop window, where that is possible, so that people may see them as they pass, and step in and purchase what they want. Many a soul has been laid hold of in this way. Many, I doubt not, have been saved and blessed by means of tracts, seen for the first time in a shop window or arranged on a counter. But where there is no such opportunity, the Assembly's meeting room is the tract depot's natural home. There is, manifestly, a real want of a tract depot in every large town, conducted by someone of intelligence and sound business habits, who would be able to speak to persons about the tracts, and to recommend such as might prove helpful to anxious inquirers after truth. In this way, I feel persuaded, much good might be done. The Christians in the town would know where to go for tracts, not only for their own personal reading, but also for general distribution. Surely if a thing is worth doing at all, it is worth doing well, and if the tract depot be not worth attending to, we know not what is. The tract depot must be taken up in direct service to Christ. I feel assured that where it is so taken up and so carried on, in energy, zeal, and integrity, the Lord will own it and He will make it a blessing. Is there no one who will take up this valuable work for Christ's sake and not for the sake of remuneration? Is there no one who will enter upon it in simple faith, looking to the living God? Here lies the root of the matter. For this branch of the work, as for every other branch, we need those who trust God and deny themselves. It seems to me that a grand point would be gained if the tract depot were placed on its proper footing, and viewed as an integral part of the evangelistic work, to be taken up in responsibility to the Lord and carried on in the energy of faith in the living God. Every branch of gospel work, the depot, the preaching, the Sunday school, must be carried on in this way. It is all well and most valuable to have fellowship, full cordial fellowship, in all our service, but if we wait for fellowship and cooperation in the starting of work which comes within the range of personal, as well as collective, responsibility, we shall find ourselves very much behind, or the work may not be done at all. I shall have occasion to refer more particularly to this point, when I come to treat of the preaching and the Sunday school. All I want now, is to establish the fact that the tract depot is a branch, and a most important and efficient branch, of evangelistic work. If this be thoroughly grasped by our friends, a great point is gained. I must confess to you that my moral sense has often been grievously offended by the cold, commercial style in which the publishing and sale of books and tracts are spoken of, a style befitting perhaps a mere commercial business, but most offensive when adopted in reference to the precious work of God. I admit in the fullest way, nay, I actually contend for it, that the proper management of the depot demands good sound business habits, and upright business principles. But at the same time I am persuaded that the tract depot will never occupy its true ground, never realize the true idea, never reach the desired end, until it is firmly fixed on its holy basis, and viewed as an integral part of that most glorious work to which we are called, even the work of active, earnest, persevering evangelization. And this work must be taken up in the sense of responsibility to Christ, and in the energy of faith in the living God. It will not do for an assembly of Christians, or some wealthy individual, to take up an inefficient protégé, and commit to such an one the management of the affair in order to afford a means of living. It is most blessed for all to have fellowship in the work, but I am thoroughly convinced that the work must be taken up in direct service to Christ, to be carried on in love for souls, and real interest in the spread of the truth, and where such is the case, we may rest assured God will take care of his dear servants. I hope to address you again on the other two branches of my theme. Meanwhile, allow me to subscribe myself, dearest A., your deeply affectionate yokefellow.